Okay, welcome to lesson 38. This is going to be a fun lesson, and what I need you to do is follow along. So grab a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. Pause the video if you need to grab that. All right, go ahead and copy this design. And actually, these are lines, so I'm going to put arrows signifying that they go on forever. And then I'm going to put little tick marks on here. Do 5 per line, or 5 per section. Okay, hopefully you have a shape that looks like this. This is called a rectangular coordinate system. It's also called the Cartesian coordinate system, and it's also called a coordinate plane. So basically, if you hear this word coordinate something, you know that they're talking about this design, this shape. And this is very useful for graphing points, representing points on a design that will help us visualize what we're talking about. And it unfortunately has a lot of nicknames. So if you hear rectangular coordinate system, Cartesian coordinate system, or coordinate plane, it's all talking about the same thing. Now, there are 4 sections to this coordinate plane, and we call those sections quadrant. So this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and obviously this one's the 4th quadrant. So hopefully that makes sense, kind of going counterclockwise for second, third, fourth. I'm actually going to delete this if I can, so I have room to draw other things. But I wanted to tell you about those quadrants. Now this horizontal line is called the x-axis. And this right here is called the y-axis. So those are the different parts of this coordinate plane. And what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to graph points on this coordinate plane. We do this by this little system here. The first thing that you'll be given, it's kind of like a pirate map or something. They will give you an x coordinate, and then it will give you a y coordinate. I don't quite understand how this works, but I know a GPS uses a similar system, and somehow it connects with the satellites in space, and then it uses that to identify a single point on the Earth. And if you know the x coordinate or the y coordinate or however they do it on a GPS, then people can know exactly where you are in the world. And that's they can use that to rescue people, or to just track people, or to identify treasures. There's this game called geocaching where people leave treasures for you to find just kind of in everyday places, like maybe on a lamppost or next to a sidewalk or something. I've tried to play, but I've never been able to actually find the caches. But anyway, back to our lesson. To identify a point on this coordinate plane, we use the system. First we give an x coordinate, and then we give a y coordinate. Let me give you an example. Let's say we had this point, 2, 1. What does that mean? Well, this 2 is our x coordinate. So that tells us where to go on this left and right x-axis. So this is +1, +2, +3, etc. This would be -1, -2, -3, etc. So if we have a +2, let's go ahead and hop over 2 spaces on our x-axis. Now the second number tells us where to go on our y-axis. So again, if we go up, think of it like an ocean. If you're going up in the sky, those are positive numbers. If you're going down into the ocean, it's negative numbers. So after we go to the right 2 spaces, we're going to hop up 1 space and end up right here. This is where 2, 1 will land us. The first number is our x coordinate, how much we move on our left and right axis, and then the second number tells us if we go up or down and how many spaces. So 2, 1, this would be 2, 1. Let's give another point. How about -1, +4? So again, the first number tells us where to go on our x-axis. So this time we're going to go to the left. And then a positive 4 means we go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we would end up here. -1, +4. Let's go ahead and do another one just for fun. How about +2, -2? So first number is our x-coordinate, +2, -2. We would end up right here. And one last one. Let's try to do one in the third quadrant. How about a -3, -1? 1, 2, 3, 1. We'd end up about right there. So like I said, it's kind of like a pirate map. You get these points and then you have to plot them on this coordinate plane. So hopefully that makes sense. Now the type of questions that you might get when working with a coordinate plane would be either to graph points like we just did. It might be to sketch the whole coordinate plane and then graph the points. And it might actually be to find the perimeter or an area of a shape. So let's say that there was a shape and we were told that the 4 corners of this rectangle, let's say, were here, 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 and here. So I know I kind of have a lot going on here. But let's say we plotted those, we graphed those 4 points. We figured out that this is this shape and size of our rectangle at where all the 4 corners were basically 2, the x-axis would be 2, 2, 2, -2, -2, -2, and -2, +2. And we had to find the perimeter, let's say, of the shape. Let's say our units are in centimeters. Well, we can actually go ahead and measure the perimeter of the shape, even though it's a little bit of a challenge. We know that the distance from here to here is 2 units, right? The distance from here to here is 2 units. So this whole side would be 4 units, or 4 centimeters. This side would also be 4 centimeters. This side would also be 4. I think you get the picture. So if all the sides are 4 centimeters, the perimeter would be 16 centimeters. Let's go ahead and find the area of this same shape. Well, if we know that each side is 4 centimeters long, that's actually kind of interesting. The area is going to be 16 centimeters squared, right? We have to remember we're doing area, not just perimeter, not just the border. So it's interesting because you can go ahead and graph a shape on a coordinate plane and then use that to calculate the perimeter and area. It just takes a lot of steps, right? First you need to know how to draw a coordinate plane, then you need to know how to graph each of these points, and then you need to know how to measure either the perimeter or the side so you can calculate the area, and then you can't forget about your unit. And then to remember if it's just centimeters or centimeters squared or yards squared, or whatever unit you're working with. So kind of a complicated lesson. If you need to rewatch this, feel free to do that. I think the majority of your equations will just be sketching this new coordinate plane and then knowing how to graph points. Remember, the first number will tell you how to travel on that x-coordinate. The second number will tell you how to travel along that y axis. And just keep in mind that you are also able to graph shapes on this coordinate plane and then use that to help calculate the area or perimeter of a shape. All right, let me know if you have any questions.